On this week's episode, we are catching up on our weekly wins, diving deep and debriefing in another position of the week, because we're going to keep them popping, girl. 52 new positions this year, and we're talking about all of them every single week. And we are really getting into reality TV drama, and how reality TV meets TV drama. We're discussing the Love is Blind episodes that just popped up, meeting the parents, all the cringe moments from the guys on this season. I'm also diving into some documentary talk about Tyra and America's Next Top Model and how unbelievably chaotic and crazy that show was looking back in hindsight. And lastly, we are discussing the final season of Tell Me Lies, but not just the final season. We are talking about how guys like Steven actually exist in real life, and they are vindictively, vengefully trying to make you look crazy, take you down, what that looks like, how it happens, and how much reality actually came from this TV show that quite literally happens to women every day. So this is a long one. It's a good one. It's the middle of the week, but if you're drinking, grab a drink. We are high on life this week, baby, and I'm going to keep bringing you the episodes no matter what I do.
Girl, stop talking. All the shit that people are thinking but not saying. Are you still talking? Girl, stop talking.
Happy fucking Monday, bitches. Again, we are a day late and a dollar short, but you know what? We're here, we're getting it done, and we're keeping the ball rolling and moving and whatever it is that the people say, okay? I sometimes just feel like I procrastinate these episodes, and it literally makes no sense because I'm like, girl, you love doing this. You're excited to do it. But when things don't go according to plan on my calendar, and then they get missed, and then they get swapped, and then I try to move them around, and it's like a whole thing, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So what are we getting into today? Well, you already kind of got a little recap before the intro of today's episode. But of course, we're going over our weekly wins. I think I said this last week, but shout out to the girly that put her weekly wins in the YouTube comments. I want to hear, you guys, what's going on with you? What's something good that has happened to you over the last week? Every week in my coaching program, it's something that I do. We focus on wins and how we can continue to do positive things to get us to our goals moving forward. But I like starting the show off with wins because it's a cute, fun catch me up, and we get to support each other and be like, woo, go you, girl, So drop your weekly wins in the comments. I want to know. There's got to be good things happening. Let's keep the positive shit popping, okay? Mine, I came prepared yet again with my trusty notepad. My weekly wins this week. We hit 300 subscribers on YouTube, baby. Ooh, ooh. That is so exciting. It's such a small baby win, but I'm like, 300 people is 300 people. Like, that's pretty cool. And I've really been putting in a lot of work, a lot of effort, actually playing back and watching these crazy, which I didn't do for a very long time because it's hard to hear yourself talk, and sometimes the things that comes out of my mouth in these episodes, girl, I'm like, we do not want to relive. You know what I mean? So it's a big, huge win, and hopefully many, many more. Also, I want to do something fun, like every 100 subscribers. I would love to do like something super fun. So you guys should comment and let me know, what do you want to hear? Do you have any ideas? Like maybe every 100 subscribers, I share a new, fun, sexy story that I've never shared before, which you're actually gonna get one today, okay? And it has to do with our pow pow. Pow, pow, pow. What's that, you ask? The pow is the position of the week. I had to come up with some acronyms, some slang terms here because some of these clips I quite literally can't post on YouTube because they are a little too explicit. So we will be referring to our position of the week as our pow pow, which I think is so clever. Literally just wrote it down and I'm like, okay, wait, this is perfect. Let's do that. So my win number 2, I'm officially past the 2-week mark on 75 hard, more of like 75 consistency, however you want to take it. I'm trying to take a healthy approach from this challenge and really just give myself something to like check off the list. It's been going really well. I had one day where I quote unquote failed, and I did a post on my Instagram. You can go look back at day 12 of 75 hard and why I considered it not a fail. The idea of this challenge for me is to build momentum and stay healthy and not run myself down into the ground and feel like I actually failed when that's not really what happened, you know? So that's good. I'm breaking through plateaus left and right. So that is a win. And lastly, my third win is I'm literally just high on life. Like, it's so crazy that I've reached this point in my fitness journey and in my life where I've deeply understand and have completely just analyzed, and it was like a light switch went off when I figured out my relationship to alcohol. That is an episode that I did a couple of weeks ago. If you want to listen to that one, I forget what the episode title is. It's in the description. It was just a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, I really figured out my relationship to alcohol and what that meant for me. And that was a game changer. And then not to mention, like, I'm at this point in my journey where I just wake up every day excited to start the day. I go to sleep, like every night I go to sleep thinking to myself, like, I get to wake up and start a new day. That feels like a crazy delusional mindset that I've like never had before. Not saying that I've struggled with mental health or like depression. I feel like I have situational sadness and anxiety sometimes, but it's not something that's been like an active part of my everyday, day-to-day life. But I've never, like, not that I remember being so excited to wake up the next day just to do the same thing that I do every single day. Wake up, drink my Legion protein shake, grab a Celsius, go to the gym. It's really just crazy to me that I am just feeling high on life. I'm excited. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying just like being sober, completely have decentered like food and alcohol as an activity. I mean, once you figure that out, things really switch around, which is crazy. And I'm just in this pivotal point where I'm definitely spending more time like being a homebody because of the routine and how much I love it. And I just see a shift in my life. And like, let me tell you something, these Mormons, they got it right. They don't do, they I was going to say, they don't do drugs and alcohol. And they quite literally are just high on life. Like, I get it. Like, to be able to just have so much fun living without feeling like you have to prioritize some sort of mind-altering substance, even just like alcohol, I'm saying. It is just a game changer. And maybe I'm like repeating myself and this is boring, so we'll skip over this like pretty quick, but I just feel like that is a win for me. And I'm really just enjoying this time. And I feel like things are shifting and changing so much in like just such a short period of time. I know last week I talked about fitness and failures and how there was these moments where I felt like just wanting to give up. And I'm telling you right now, like when you're feeling like you want to give up, you really just have to keep pushing because it takes time and we don't want to deal with that. But all of these baby steps, all of these times you're showing up for yourself, when you continue to move forward and push yourself and challenge yourself and do these little tweaks and, spend less time drinking or eating out as a social activity and actually doing fun body movement and things, you create new hobbies, you create new neural pathways in your brain, telling yourself that like there are other fun ways to live, and they all benefit your goals, the goals that you say you have. When the distractions go away, you end up finding so much extra time, and then you get to decide, how do you fill it? Because I think that is the hardest part when it comes to prioritizing food and alcohol, is we use it to fill our time. And when that gets taken away, you're sitting in the boredom and you're like, well, what should I do now? What a banger these episodes are, you guys. Welcome to the little intro, okay? We got through our weekly wins. I want to hear yours. Comment in the comments. I read every single comment wherever you comment, okay? I read them. I respond. I am an active girly growing a brand. I want a community. You are my community. You are my fucking community, bitch. Okay? We're in this together. We're growing, we're glowing, and we're going to have a good fucking time doing it. Welcome to the part of the episode where things get a little sexy, okay? We're in long enough to where we won't get shunned by the YouTube editors, analyzers, AI bots, and into the part of the episode where things get a little fun. Welcome to our POW. The pow, pow, pow. Isn't that a Glorilla song? That's like what I think. Pow, 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 which actually aligns perfect to this segment because this is our position of the week. Every week, I give you a new position to use with your partner in the bedroom to help spice up and keep your sex life, going, growing, and getting the fuck down, okay? I'm really like, the one-liners are not hitting today. I keep saying the same ones, and we just need, next, okay? Thank you, next. I also give a debrief of last week's position, and I'm going to be so for real with you guys right now. It is a desert. It is the desert. We hit that 90-degree heat this week. Your girl is hot. She is not bothered. Unfortunately, this is the one problem that happens sometimes when you're in a semi-long distance relationship. Like, the days get missed. Over the last weekend, my man got sick. And then over this weekend, I was bleeding out trying to literally cork the battle wounds, if you know what I mean. I think the girls got it. So there has not been direct sexy time with last week's position. Dang, spit it out. But I do have a story for you because I do not come without a story. No pun intended. Actually, pun intended. That was completely unintentional. Last week's position was backing it up, bitch. Okay, you're gonna back it up. I explained the position. Go watch last week's episode if you're interested. And we are just not critiquing. We're giving little tips, little tricks to make things a little more fun under the sheets, or in the car, or in a bathroom, or wherever it is that you're fucking and sucking. Okay. So I forgot to give you guys a little trigger warning for last week's position. Being bent over, depending on the angles of what you are being bent over. If you get that arch too arched, if those booty cheeks are too high up and gravity is working against you, there will be a little queef. Little queef, queef. Oh, bong, queef, queef. No. This is my problem with last week's position. When you do the little twerk, we talked about that. It usually helps with not getting air in there. Also, make sure you have the control. So you take those notes with last week's, because otherwise he's going to get in there, the giver's going to get in there and start tapping that ass, and you're going to get filled up with air. And then the next time you make a position or a move, she's going to come out. She's going to come out. She's going to give a little, But listen, this is natural. And you know what I'd say about queefing, now that we're going to get into this really quick? What a topic. You know what I say? It's not even your fault. Do not sit here and feel like embarrassed or concerned when this happens, because it is not even your fault. It is the man's fault. Okay? He puts you in that position. He's going too quick. The gravity is working against you, not with you. You're getting filled up with air, and that's what happens. Pro tip, before you move, if you're switching positions, you can just take your finger, just the tip of your finger, and go a little back and forth, like almost like a little rim. Take the tip of your finger and just move it back and forth, and it will gently let the air come out without making the farting sound before you just switch positions, legs flying around, pussy lips flapping, making fart noises. You know what I mean? So I should have given you that tip last week. One too many times, girl. You're not alone, okay? This week, we are going to kind of add, I guess, what a great segue. Talking about twerking on the tip. We're talking about pussy lips flapping around. And this week's POW, we're calling just the tip, okay? So this is going to be cowgirl. I guess cowgirl is when the girl is on top. I'm speaking, sorry, I feel like I have to clarify this every time. There's giver and receiver. You can use these positions in every which way and use toys to accommodate or modify if you will, but I'm going to speak as if because I'm in a heterosexual relationship, so that is how I'm going to tell the story. So take this information for what you will, but everybody can use it in the same, okay? So cowgirl, because reverse cowgirl, you're facing opposite directions. So I guess cowgirl means that you are on top and you're riding that dick. You're like, woo, girl. So this one is a fan favorite. And by fan, I mean from my man. Just one. Fan of one. Literally never done it on anyone else. Should I show you? I feel like I have to show you. Pretend your man is here. Okay, I'm not using my bear prop because there's just a lot going on. So you're on top. You're doing regular cowgirl. Okay, you're going to come closer so that you lift off of his lap, and then you're going to twerk on the dick. Just the tip. Just the tip. Just the tip. He goes crazy. You can give yourself a little break. Sometimes it's hard being on top. You know what I mean? You got to give yourself a break. Get firm on your knees. Move forward. You can also, in this position, you could totally make out with him. You could talk dirty in his ear while you're twerking. Try it out. Let me know. I want to know how it goes. You can always write in. We do take anonymous write-ins on this show. Just head over to my podcast page and you can send in advice, questions about any of these pows, okay? Or you can share your story. What went wrong? What did you love? What did he love? Is he like, bitch, are you watching porn? Are you cheating on me? Where are you getting all these new moves? Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is where you come to find one new position a week to use on your man or your hookup to make him fucking spiral and want to come back for more. Okay. This is like my favorite part of the episode. I'm honestly so excited and happy that I came up with this idea because it is a sex and dating relationship show, but think more recently we've been kind of talking about like the relationship bonds and how to move and be self-aware and understand more like mindset and within dating, our relationships and ourselves. But I love that we can pop in here and just like keep it fun, keep it entertaining. I've heard from a couple of you via DMs about some of these positions and how your men love them. And I would absolutely love to hear a fun story if something crazy happened. If you got any good feedback, please let me know. You can DM me privately and or you can send in a little email. I want to hear from you guys, okay? So we are now going to move into like the main topic of the episode, and I feel like I have so much to talk about. This is kind of going to be a reality recap meets like girl stop talking, dating and relationship implementation. Like, how do these things fit into our life? Where can they stem from? How can we learn from them? How can I like give my personal experience and be able to share what I've gone through in how this relates to some of this reality show TV dramas that we have going on. Okay, so I decided we're going to start light and fluffy, and then we're going to kind of move into relationship drama, TV drama talk. We have 3 things that we're going to be talking about in the entirety of this episode. We are going to start with Love is Blind, recapping the last 4 episodes, I think 6 through 10 that got released so that we can gossip, chat, and derail the chaos of the audacity of the men on the show. And then we're going to go into Tyra Banks with America's Next Top Model. Are we watching this documentary? We'll get into it, okay? And then lastly, we're going to talk about the Tell Me Lies finale, and I want to bring to light what I think is actually so important about this TV show and maybe an interesting perspective that you haven't thought of. So let's start with light, easy, fun gossip sesh. Love is Blind. I did write some notes to keep myself centered with all the things. I want to start off by saying like all of these parents on this season, I absolutely love. They're like so kind and loving and supportive, and like don't get me wrong, I think one couple has the chance of actually staying and being together, maybe 2, but out of 7 couples, I don't really see this going very well. It will be really interesting on Wednesday, like how many episodes we get, and I guess we'll probably get like the Bachelor, Bachelorettes, and then like the dress fittings. But I don't know if we're going to get the weddings. I don't think so. I think it's going to be the parties, the fittings, and I think a lot of drama is really going to start to blow up because that's when it's really starting to feel real. And I pray for some of these women that they just decide for themselves that this is not it. Girl. Speaking of parents, we need to talk about Ashley's dad and Alex, okay? Ashley is the gorgeous, beautiful blonde. Alex is the guy who thinks he is this world-renowned soccer player, but he's actually like a gypsy with no job and has been like traveling, probably living with girls that he met off the internet. I don't know. But Ashley's dad of it all. Okay, the fact that he's a lawyer and he was freaking grilling Alex so hard. And like, I love the way that Netflix edited this whole show or even just that moment, because why did I feel like I was in a courtroom? That scene went on for so long. I was uncomfortable. I was like, holy shit, when is this going to end? He is like grilling him. But the thing that was even worse about it is like, this Alex guy is like very condescending. Okay. Like, how do you have an answer for everything? He's like talking, but I'm like, do you even know what you're saying? Like, I'm not buying it. I think there are things that don't add up. And Ashley's a smart girl. I think she's catching on to those things as well. I cannot imagine her actually going through with this. I'm hopeful that she's going to be the one to be like, this ain't it, boo boo. And talking about the table scene, so like right after that, then they're at the table. She's talking about how she doesn't feel that he is as affectionate with her or isn't initiating sex, and he's making all of these excuses under the sun, talking about being on her period. And then also, what was like the thing that pissed me off? Obviously the period conversation, like do a fucking Google search, okay? Like if I can't even get into it. But the thing that made me even more irritated was how he is clearly feeling so inferior after meeting her dad and with her. He's literally arguing with her about her rearranging the fridge. I love to rearrange the fridge. So like, girl, I get that. And he's like pulling fucking strings, not to mention the whole work of it all, okay? The work where he's like, he's the one without the job and she's literally saying like she's gonna move her life to try to make this work. God forbid, girl, please do not move your fucking life. That absolutely cannot happen, because this guy is saying like he has opportunities and he's talking to her as if she's the homeless one, as if she's the broke one that doesn't have a job. And it's like, excuse me, sir. You've just been traveling for how many years? You don't actually have a job. You have no money or savings in the bank after whatever it was that you said you sold. And I can't. This is going nowhere good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another funny scene. Emma, and I don't remember her man's name. Emma is the Asian girly that doesn't want kids and had the cancer on her arm. And I said last week that I feel like she needs to do some of this inner work. I think the good thing about Love is Blind for her is it's probably allowing her to actually better understand why she has these walls up around like family and kids. And I think that that's going to be really beautiful for her. I don't think this marriage is going to work out. The man that she's with really wants kids. And speaking from a relation, like I'm in a relationship where this has been a hot topic of, is this what we want? Is it not what we want? We started on two opposite ends, my man and I, and trying to make a life work and having all these huge question marks is truly a difficult place to be in. I couldn't imagine being in that position and having to make a hefty decision of like trying to marry someone within like 3 weeks of knowing them. That seems nuts. But the thing that I thought was so funny is Emma's sister. She's like, I think they're all just trying to like validate her opinion and be like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But it was just like so comical to me that her sister's like, listen, like I have kids. I have two of them. And if I could go all the way back and make the decision, like, would I have them or not? Probably not. I just thought that was so funny. And like, I get what she was trying to do. Like, we all as parents were like, yeah, fuck those kids. You know what I mean? Oh, God, I'm like getting so itchy while I'm sitting here. We have those moments as parents already where we're just like, you know what? Like, if I could choose a life without kids to only think of myself, would I do it? I don't even know if I would admit to that, though. That just the way she did it had me laughing so hard because it just kind of felt forced and fake. And I'm like, not you on like national TV saying you regret having your children. That's like basically what she said. And then like 5 minutes later, I just think it's so funny. Then they cut to the kids and the husbands of the sisters coming out all excited, like, wow! And I'm like, after she's just like, I regret these little fuckers. I just can't. Oh, it's funny. That is so funny. Moving on. Devontae, I think his name is, the light skin, blue eyes. He's with Brittany. Something's up with him. I can't really read him a whole lot. I did not like their conversation on the couch about how she is trying to be honest telling him, like, doing a really great job of communicating, actually, saying, like, I don't feel, or like, she's saying, like, I feel like you're not interested in me. You're not physically attracted to me. You know, this, like, things have changed. She's voicing her feelings using I statements, which we love and talk about so much because that's what we do when we talk about our feelings. We hold ourselves accountable using I statements. And then he turns around and does like the most 180 gaslighting, like manipulative bullshit, flips it on her. And the next thing you know, you're ending the conversation and she's the one apologizing. He's like, well, I guess we both have something to work on. And I'm like, hello, just be honest. Why? Why is it so difficult? You're going to have to be honest at some point. Isn't it easier like when you're sitting on the couch and the cameras are there rather than like walking down the altar and the cameras being there with your family and all that? Like that seems crazy. Not to mention, like, he's so weird and, like, isolating with her, but then he meets her family and he's, like, chatty with daddy. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it for her. She is, like, the cutest, sweetest thing. Like, her smile was great. I did like at the end, he did give her some validation, but that was only after, like, this 180 manipulative tactic bullshit, and I don't like that. I was sitting cringing in the TV, like, ew. Ew, girl, you deserve better. Deserve better. Okay, and then I think the last thing that was on my notes is, Jessica and Chris, Pilates gate. I don't know if I said this in last week's episode, but I was definitely talking to some of my friends about it. After Jessica showed Chris her house, they were having that conversation on the couch. He was forcing this creepy, crazy look in his eye, this smile. And in that moment, I knew he is not into her. I knew it right then and there. He did a good job masking and pretending before. It did really seem like he was into her. But when they were talking on the couch, she seemed so lovey-dovey, like into him. And I could see it on his face. He was like, you know that smile that he does? He's like, he. I was like, uh-oh, it's going downhill. I don't know if he was feeling insecure about her job, her house. I mean, he already has some things to be insecure about. His Napoleon syndrome is coming out strong, my guy. And it just got worse. It's like then the whole Pilates of it all, it's so insane. And I'm sure you guys have seen like so many clips and whatever combos about this already, but he would have been so much better off if he just said the words, I'm not physically attracted to you. That's it. Instead, he's beating around the bush. He's trying to like, I think he thinks he's trying to soften the blow, but it did not go, did not go the way he anticipated. Okay. Like he should have said, like, I want to continue to deepen our connection. At the moment, I don't feel physically attracted to you. And I'm sure that's hard to hear, but I'm just trying to be honest. Like, I want to give you the space to decide whether or not you want to continue. Like, if he's like, I feel like this can come, like, I'm just, you know, you're outside of my normal type or whatever. I mean, even that is like so hard to hear, but there definitely could have been a better way. And if he didn't want to be in the relationship, which is really how it felt, like he did not want to be a part of this relationship with her at that point, which is why I don't think he really cared, because then the conversation with him and Connor on the couch, first of all, that felt so forced. Connor, like, you are a sweet goober boy, like Bree says, but you are not made to be an actor. Like, that felt so staged to me. It felt so uncomfortable. Connor didn't want to be there. Chris didn't want to be there. He's just like, can I go back to the strip club and find another girl to throw some ones at? Because that's because he has to pay for sex, honestly. Like, let's be so for real. The energy he brought into the group meet, I'm just like, ew. It's like when someone, it's almost like he knew he had to double down, and then he just like brought out this like cocky behavior. I can't. Ugh. Let me know if you're liking these little updates. I want to know. I want to know if you like the updates on Love is Blind. I've never really done like a reality recap. I know that there's so much content about this already. Do you agree with some of the things I say? Do you think it's going to turn out different? Let me know, because we never have to do this again. But I do think it's interesting. Okay, speaking of TV drama, America's Next Top Model is so insane. I don't know if you guys have seen anything about this, if you've watched the documentary or not, but they produced a documentary recapping America's Next Top Model and the 10 seasons or so. They have girls' testimonies of specific traumatic things that have happened to them within the series. They have all the 3 main judges. Tyra is a part of the show, or the documentary, which is so crazy to me. Like, I'm beyond disbelief that I'm like, how did they get her to sign up for this? Or is she just a little cuckoo cuckoo? Because listen, you know I am here to empower women and I stand behind women, but I cannot stand behind women that will not hold themselves accountable for their actions of actually physically, mentally hurting people for your own entertainment and benefit. Like, that is insane. This documentary is crazy. Some of the real life stuff that happened when you see from like the back end of, these girls telling their stories is just nuts to me. Like, I remember watching the show and I thought it was like so fun and like wild and crazy. And like, I remember being like, I want to be a model. I want to be on that show. Like, I remember telling my mom, do you think it'll still be going on when I'm 18? Like, I could try out. That would be so cool. And seeing the dark, scary shit behind the scenes is insane. Just to name a few. Okay, there was a couple of things. There was one girl, I think her name was Shandy. She was a blonde. They showed her cheating on her boyfriend in the series and having to do a phone call telling the boyfriend and whatnot. And realistically, what happened is she blacked out in this moment after like not eating for days on end and drinking. She was fully freaking blacked out and got taken advantage of sexually. Like, that's insane to me. And it's all documented. And she's talking about how, like, at no point nobody stepped in. Not one of the girls stepped in, not any of the production. And then they essentially like forced her to like do this whole breakup scene with her boyfriend the next day. It like, watching and listening to these stories, it's honestly kind of sad. Like, if you're going through it, if you are PMSing, girl, don't even watch it. Because you have to, like, it is emotionally taxing and it gave me anxiety for them, like, listening to their story. Not to mention, like, the whole persona of the show was for them to get a modeling contract and be a real life model. But at that time, they explained that there was so much stigma from these winners. And I say winners because a lot of them didn't actually get the benefit of becoming or being nurtured or shown as a real model because they were like quoted as like a reality TV star. And so like major brands and, designers didn't want to work with them at the time because they thought they would get backlash from having these girls in their clothes or their photo shoots or a part of their brand. Like, where things are now for like influencers and people with personal brands and people with a social media presence is so different compared to back then. Now, like, brands understand like they can monetize from it just as well with people who have a following. But back then, these girls didn't have a following. They were just regular people and they weren't even looked at in the industry. They were looked down upon. more than half of these girls never even succeeded in a modeling career after they got their one like brand photo shoot contract with America's Next Top Model because of the stigma the show had. I think there was one plus size, because God forbid you're not a, double zero, you're considered a plus size. That's the other thing, the ridiculous like body shaming and just challenges. Like, it is so crazy. You watch back with a different lens and you're just like, how did these things fly? I have no idea. But there was one girl, she was their first like plus size model. And it looks like she ended up having a good career and making it as a model in the industry, but so many other girls didn't. And I just think it's so crazy. No, let's like go back to Tyra for a second. I so wish, like, I would have more respect for her as a person after seeing this documentary if she just had a little empathy. Like, she's sitting there pretending like she doesn't remember girls. You can like see it all over her face. Like, what? I don't know. Oh yeah. I think so. And it's just, the lack of empathy is insane. If she would have shown up and been like, yeah, I could have done a better job. I did some things for ratings. I'm deeply in regret. I've reached out to these girls profusely apologizing. I feel horrible. Like, you can go so much further in life when you just show up honestly. I'm not even kidding. Looking at this documentary and the way she responded to everything is just insane. It almost makes it more insane. You guys have to go watch it, and then you gotta comment and let me know what you think, because, oh, girl, they were literally switching races. They were doing blackface. They were doing like all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, these crazy challenges. They go behind the scenes and talk about how sometimes they didn't even pick their best photos. Like, they would purposely use personal information against them for a plot line. Like, I know reality TV can be scripted and crazy, and it's like an unscripted, scripted TV show. Like, they set things up, but this is like wild. It is early 2000s chaos. And girl, it is crazy. I don't even think, like, so many people are like, oh, I want to rewatch it. I don't even think I could rewatch it. Knowing what I know, I don't think I could rewatch it. The judges on there were insane. The bullying, like, literally tearing these girls down. And like, the whole idea of the show was supposed to like change the modeling industry and show them that like anyone could be a model. It was supposed to be this like women for women and girl power, and it just fucking spiraled into a dumpster fire, girl. A full-blown dumpster fire. Okay, now we're segueing from one TV drama reality to Tell Me Lies drama. Obviously, this show has been one of the most chaotic, disturbing drama TV shows that we've had, I think, in quite some time. And I wanted to talk about this because I think it's so important. We obviously know that this was the series finale. We're not getting another season, and the show had so many lies, so much drama. The main character, Steven and Lucy, kind of had this tumultuous relationship the whole time, and it essentially ended up like dictating and destroying her life. The season finale, a lot of people have mixed reviews about how she got back into the car, left with him, only to be left at the gas station, and Steven kind of have the last laugh and the last word. I was battling with myself in that final scene of, part of me knew she was going to get into the car because, as we know, when you're in a toxic relationship, a tumultuous relationship, you you're in that infinite loop of spiral, sadness, pickup, feel good, consistency, spiral, sadness, whatever. You're in this destructive loop that ends up pushing you away from your friends, your family. Like, what they did in this show symbolizes so much of real life. And so, of course, she was going to get into the car, right? And you just think to yourself, like, at first, like when he's like, oh, I got to get some gas. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be it. He's going to get gas. She's going to hop in the front seat and then she's going to drive off. And I'm like, oh, what an epic ending. And then she's like, should I go get some coffees? And I was screaming. I'm like, no, what is going to happen? He's going to leave you. Like, what the hell? I was screaming in this moment because I was like, there's no way. And I honestly love the way it ended with her walking out and fucking laughing. Like, it was so comical. I've seen some things online about how there was the clip where Diana, I think is her name, Diana, told her, I don't know if you remember this, but it was like, she said, you have to make him think that he's the one that did it or he'll never leave you alone. So I like that perspective online where she was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna let him think that he won so that this can really be over. And then that's why that whole scene conspired. Anyways, at the end of the day, what I really wanted to discuss with this is I have also heard from a lot of people like how insane and how crazy they think Steven is, like that he's the sociopath. He's doing things out of being vindictive and being vengeful, like just because, like there's really no reason. It's just who he is as a person. And I keep hearing people say like, this is so crazy. Like, I cannot even believe this. I can't believe this. And I'm like, you know what? I can. I can fucking believe it. Raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by a psychopath. Hello, hi, me. I have. In my once craziest relationship that I've spoken tidbits here and there, I have quite literally dated a guy like this, a guy that I broke up with, tried to break up with, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that I broke up with him, even though he didn't like me. And I knew he didn't like me because he told me, okay? Like, this show made me, like, really fucked up. I was like, where am I going with this? I had so much anxiety watching this TV show, and for the first, like, 2 seasons, or season and a half, I couldn't understand why. And as I was watching it, I realized, like, oh my God, Steven is my ex. Steven's my ex. I dated this guy, IRL. And this shit does happen. And I like that they created a show to really shows how insane these relationships are, because it's one thing to be in a toxic relationship, but when you are in a relationship when someone is purposely trying to hurt you, and seek revenge on you, not only is it terrifying, but it's dangerous. Mine ended up in a court case where I had to testify on stand in court against his lawyer for shit that he did to me. Okay? Like, and I'm just glad because the way that they represented these characters are so perfect. This shit actually happens. Like, watch this show in hindsight looking for red flags. Like, if you are a single girl, you are in college, you are listening to this, you've dated shitty guy after shitty guy and you don't think it can get worse, it actually can. Okay? It can, to the point where you're one step away from asking yourself, like, is he gonna physically assault me? Like, that is where this conversation is going in this show. And it was hard to watch at some points, and I could talk about this for so much longer, but we're running out of time, so I just want to wrap it up pretty shortly. But I just feel like I needed to shed some light on, like, this stuff actually happens, and there are men out there that will not actually like you. They are so caught up in wanting to be vindictive and seek revenge because they're so hurt. And they do crazy things. They do crazy things, and then they turn around and make you feel crazy. The last episode where Lucy was spiraling, she literally made me think for a second, was she hallucinating the whole tape? Did that actually even happen? Is she crazy? And that was the moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is what they do. They are so manipulative and they get so deeply embedded into your brain that they literally cause these insane reactions. And then society looks at the women as if they're the problem, as if they fed into it, as if they were a part of this bigger thing. When in reality, when you look at Lucy's story, she started in college as just a girl. She didn't start as this horrible, shitty person, but she was slowly picked away at and picked apart and told she was worthless and nothing. And everything and all of that got stripped down. And to sit here and think that she played a role in the problem, did she lie? Yes, out of fear, out of terror, for being so psychologically abused by this man. And that's exactly what they do. They psychologically, emotionally abuse you. They tear you down. They separate you from your friends and family. They get people to turn on you, and they continue to be vengeful on purpose. Why? I don't know. I don't understand it. I can't give you that answer, but I wanted to shed some light on like these things really happen, and I'm living testimony and proof because I went through it. I went through it. The breaking up with the man who said he didn't like me. His literal words were, I didn't even like you when we first started dating. To my face. It's crazy. He also held things against me, made threats to me in my relationship if I didn't do the things that he wanted me to do, literally made threats about my personal life and other people in my life. He moved in to my apartment complex after I put a restraining order on him. Okay? These are just the highlights. He ended up showing up at all these places that I was at, followed me around, tried to run me off the freeway in an Uber, and, continued to attempt to ruin my life because I broke up with him because he didn't like me? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, I'm going on a rant now, but I just think it's important to know that if you see any signs in someone like this, you need to run because they know how to make it look like you're the crazy one. They know how to play the mind game, make you spiral, and then next thing you know, you're sobbing, people aren't taking you serious, and they think that you're the one that needs the help. And this show did such a great job of representing those types of relationships to a T right before someone ends up on freaking 90 Minutes. Like, that is the type of guy that Steven plays on the show. That is the type of person that I thought I was dating. Like, I literally thought and feared for my life and made poor decisions because of it. And getting away was harder than staying in the relationship. And that's why most girls don't leave. And on that note, we can save all of those questions, comments, and concerns probably for a full fucking episode. So if you want to hear more about those specific types of relationship, my story, please send me a comment wherever you listened. I want to hear your weekly wins. I want to know if you've tried any of our pows, okay? And I will see you guys next week for another catch up and fun gossip session. Goodbye, girl.
Are you still talking? Girl, stop talking.